With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 350 plus undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu. At Arizona State University, we've made online education better, smarter, and more personalized so you can go further in your aspiring field.
I decided to pursue medicine once I realized that ASU did have the online program for biological sciences. You're still required to learn the same curriculum. You're still being tested on the same content that anyone would be tested on in person. The comprehensiveness of the program prepared me so well for medical school.
Explore over 350 plus programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
Welcome to For Mannerless Women, a space nurturing the next generation of shame-free women who are ready to meet their best selves. My name's Adelle and I'm your host. And in this episode, we learn more about how the body stores emotion. And helping us do this is body talk practitioner, Janet. So I've been wanting to have you, Janet, on this show or any show for a while, just because of the work that you do and how that impacted me, right? Wow. So first I have to say thank you.
You're welcome.
Very big thank you. So I want to kind of like catch you up on where I'm at ever since we first met. So you are a body talk practitioner, yes. And I came to see you as a gift, a birthday gift that my friend Gina had gotten for me. And she was grieving her sister and she had a session with you and she called me and was like, you have to go for this. And because she was first my late mom's friend, and then I inherited her as a friend, and she's like, it's done wonders for me in terms of like grief. Go, this is your birthday present. And that's how I ended up coming to see you.
Yeah.
And I remember our session, before we get deeper into what a session looks like, our session started off with you saying, I'm not a witch doctor.
Did I say that?
Yes, and you said, I will know things.
Oh, yeah.
But it's your body talking to me. And I was just like, okay. But trust me, at the end, I was like, wow, how did you know that? How did you know this, that, and the other? And I was explaining to Gina, it felt as though after our session, when you're driving and you start your car and you put down the handbrake and you can feel the car kind of like release tension.
Yes.
I felt that in like my belly area.
Description.
Yes. And we talked about, you asked me, is there something you're working on? Because I'm getting a sense that we're not alone and there are people here clapping for you.
Oh, yeah.
And are you right? You're like, are you working on something? Does it have something to do with hair? What are you doing? And no one knew that I was working on an anthology about feeling at home in your body, including, as you can see, the lack of hair.
Yeah.
Really just accepting this body I'm in. And it resulted in my first film.
Wow. Okay.
Right? So like, I have always carried that moment
so cool.
with me. Yeah. And I've never been back because he told me you will know when to come back. But I always wanted other women to experience that.
Oh, thanks.
That's the intro. Like I had to have that moment to be first. So when people are hearing this, it sounds foreign to very many people. Yeah. Body talk therapy. What is that?
I mean, it's in the name, right? Your body is talking to you all the time. And we tend to ignore the symptoms, right? You'll have a headache or you'll have digestive issues. You'll feel aches and pains or you're inflamed, bloated, blurred vision. The list goes on, but your body is always talking to you. And we tend to dismiss things or take a Panadol or, you know, and we just dismiss it. And yes, sometimes it's just the one-off. I combine too many different foods and like, you know, some bicarbonate will sort me out. But in most cases, when these things are persisting, it is the body really nudging you towards awareness.
It's talking to you.
We lack this awareness of this incredible technology. This is a technology, your body.
True.
Right? So there's energy in the body. And the body has an innate intelligence. You're born with this intelligence. And I can prove that to you because right now, are you consciously beating your heart? Are you like, love-dub, love-dub?
No. Just like, Janet, give me a second.
It's doing it. You're breathing naturally. You know, all these things are happening. Your body is regenerating its cells. It's resetting its systems. And everything within your body is in communication with everything else at all times. That's how we often get like a lot of overcompensating in the body too.
Yeah.
And so this intelligence is constantly seeking its balance. And when it's off balance, it gives you symptoms.
Yeah.
You then ignore the symptoms until they get louder and louder and louder. And they'll get as loud as a disease.
To get your attention.
Yes.
And now you have to stop when it's a disease, right?
Yeah, when it really gets to that breaking point, you have to do something. And that's the amazing part of the body. So in body talk, all I'm doing is communicating with the innate intelligence. And I'm doing that through muscle testing. I don't know if you remember my hand being under your wrist.
Yes. And there was like a bit of
Movement, right.
yeah.
So I have two fingers under usually.
Okay.
And I am the one calibrating your wrist. I'm telling your wrist, this is a yes, this is a no. So I establish the communication. There are no external forces moving your hand.
Yeah.
It's me.
Yeah.
I'm in a consciousness, a state of mind that's called alpha mind, where you're very awake, but you're very relaxed. And you become much more aware. It's like, you know, when you're kind of in the zone in things and you just become aware of stuff in the conscious and the subconscious mind at the same time.
Okay.
You're like consciously aware, but there's information coming from your subconscious mind. So I'm in that state, which is how I'm picking up the information. But it's not some external force giving it to me. It is the force, your life force energy within you. And it's just now trained to now communicate with it and get answers to yes/no questions that I'm asking in my mind. And you know, your thoughts are energy, right? So there's this like transference of energy that's happening. So I'm asking the question and I'm using the yes/no. So for me, a yes moves very easily, a no is heavy. But I'm the one who did that. I'm the one that says, this is a yes, this is a no. And then I go through the protocol.
And is it maybe because we've been ignoring our bodies for so long that we'll round it off to, is this like some magic happening or whatever in terms of our body responding? But it's been trying to talk to us for so long, but we just, you know, life is busy and like there's so much noise around us. You don't actually get the time to be still and be like, what was this pain I felt here? What was this? So could that be the case as well? We're not in that zone, even in turn, like with ourselves.
Not self-aware.
Yeah, we're not self-aware. That's the term. And how did you find your way into this work that you do?
So I was running an NGO called Right to Thrive, and it supports kids with education and their families with multi-generational empowerment. And we were working very closely with the kids, mentoring them, counseling them, and finding that they were really struggling to regulate themselves mentally, emotionally, lots of instability. And we were trying to help them with different therapies to kind of come into a balance and a stable situation. And we tried a lot of different modalities. Don't need to name them, but we tried them. And it just got to a point where there was a situation where one of the students was suicidal and homicidal, and it was breaking me. I was just getting to that emotional point of like, we have to do more, you know? And I honestly just surrendered. I turned to my higher power and was like, she's as much your daughter as she is mine. Find a solution. please, by morning. I was like going to bed.
Have a deadline.
I'm very like specific.
Yeah.
And I was like, by morning, I would like a solution. Woke up, checked my phone, and there was just this poster on a WhatsApp chat group that invited me to a talk on this thing called body talk. And I had been reading a lot, trying to understand trauma and all these things. And I read the book, The Body Keeps the Score.
Oh, yeah.
Which is fascinating, right? And now, like, Gabor Mate has an amazing book called The Myth of Normal.
Yes.
Highly recommend that one. That one's an easier read. The other one's pretty technical. But I was like, this is a sign, you know? So I went to the talk, and I was like, this is really interesting. And this is more along the lines of what I think this child needs. And so I first went for a session because I'm not taking a child to a session that I have not tested. So I went, and my mind was blown. I'm like, how can you know this? How on earth do you know this? And she explained to me what she was doing, and I was like, okay, I have a kid I have to bring here. Brought the child, and I'm telling you, suicidal, homicidal. Like, I'm gonna kill someone and myself. Went in miserable, kicking and screaming. Just like, this is stupid, what are we doing? Went in a skeptic, came out 30 minutes later. Wasn't even like a 60 to 90 minute session. 30 minutes later, and was smiling and beaming and was like, thank you, like, I love you, let's go home. Like, it was crazy. And I just was like,
what's
you
happening?
can shift back quickly?
Yeah.
And so I asked the woman, like, how does one learn more about this? And she said, well, we're doing a training. It's a 2-week training, or it was a 1-week training, actually, in Nairobi. And so I signed up. I was like, I need to know more. And my whole background was in emotional intelligence training. So I have like so much curiosity around emotions in the body and the mind, and that whole connection, the mind-body connection fascinates me. And so I was like, this is along those lines.
It's in line with it.
So I went to the training, got certified, and I'm telling you, it's one of those things that once you know, you cannot not do. You're just thinking to yourself, this is so powerful. Why would I do anything else? Anything else is the long route to healing. So for me, I was like, I like shortcuts. Every cat doesn't. And I wanted to help them on a faster track. And so that's what happened.
Let's go back to like the body keeping score, because I think that's where the disconnect is that especially with things that are more emotive and emotions, we think it only happens up here and like you can intellectualize your way out of it. Even the feeling of the emotions, we disconnect it from our physical body, right? So could you unpack like the body keeping this energy? Right? That could lead to, correct me if I'm wrong, like blockages.
Yes.
What does that look like for someone who's a skeptic watching right now, or maybe just doesn't understand it?
Well, you're a whole being. You are not parts that were put together. So I think that's the first thing. We are not parts. We are a whole being, and we are made of energy. Everything's made of energy. Your plants, the table, everything is made of energy. First and foremost, basic science, okay? And so we're interacting with that energy all the time. Within your body, mind, okay, there is this constant communication. So your thoughts are contributing to how your body is responding. You can actually have a physiological response to a thought. Right?
This is true.
Have you ever told the story and just broke a sweat? You know, recalling something.
Or even just exercising, like you're exercising and you're getting tired. And if you think this is too much, I can't do it. Literally your body's like, yup, it follows. But if you're like, no, we can keep going, your body then follows, right?
Yeah, there's a direct connection. And like I said, everything is connected. So it's about beginning to understand that you are whole. Everything is contributing to the entire experience of the body. So when you come into the awareness that you are first energy and that your mind has a lot of power and control over your body, everything already starts to make more sense. But we're not taught this in school.
We're taught the separation.
Opposite. Yeah, and even a lot of Western modern medicine is only looking at the symptom. And I'm not dismissing modern medicine. It has its place for sure. And I believe in medication and I believe in those treatments. But I do think there is a common belief system of treating the symptom. And so In
not
body
the cause.
talk, we are seeking the story underneath the symptom. So if you were very sick and came to me, I would still send you to a doctor and say, you have to get this sorted out. But the story underneath all this, the stored trauma in the body is this. This is what your body is saying. And you have to heal both, right? So sometimes you need the antibiotics or whatever medication it is to bring the body into balance, but you also have to do that story release. You have to release that energy. So when you're talking about it being trapped in the body remembers everything. From the moment you were conceived, there's all of that. Every experience is stored in your body somewhere. And then you also have your DNA, which is carrying some information.
Yeah.
Because energy is information, right? So it's carrying this information. So you have the genetic predispositions to things, but that doesn't mean you're definitely going to get something. You can work with your mind to shift a pattern of energy. Everything becomes patterns. And I love that you're surrounded by plants.
Yeah.
Like, look at the patterns. These are patterns. And we are reflections of nature. If you look at the way capillaries are, or the lungs and the bronchioles, they reflect a tree. These root systems, everything. We are the earth. We are nature.
But our lifestyle.
At Arizona State University, we've made online education better, smarter, and more personalized so you can go further in your aspiring field.
I decided to pursue medicine once I realized that ASU did have the online program for biological sciences. You're still required to learn the same curriculum. You're still being tested on the same content that anyone would be tested on in person. The comprehensiveness of the program prepared me so well for medical school.
Explore over 350 plus programs at asuonline.asu.edu. At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.
Heavy separates us, right?
Yeah, exactly.
This is so interesting. So I like that you mentioned Gabor Mate, because he talked about women and autoimmune diseases.
Yes.
And how we're experiencing a lot more than, let's say, men, right? When it comes to autoimmune diseases. And he was looking at a more social approach and thinking about culturally, across many different cultures, women may not allow themselves to feel certain things or process certain things because they're always like in service in different spaces, right? To your children, to your partner, to your family. And that's a contributing factor to this.
Absolutely.
Is that linked to the blockages that may appear? Like, so when you're doing a body talk therapy session, those blockages, is it if we don't kind of figure out that story and why there's a blockage, do you think that's linked to what he's saying?
Yes, 100%. So an example I can give you is a woman in her life who, is a mother, has a business or a job, and is just giving. Your body needs a balance between giving and receiving. It is designed that way. Look at the yin and the yang. Everything is giving and receiving. Everything should be in balance. So an overgiver and someone who is just pouring into service all the time but not filling their own cup is over time giving from depletion. So the energy systems are depleting and burning out, and they'll get like adrenal fatigue, chronic fatigue syndrome. I mean, any autoimmune is an attack, the body attacking itself. So over time, women tend to be dismissed, right? They've gone to the doctor 3-4 times. I'm feeling really tired. I'm not sleeping well at night. The doctor will just say, it's your hormones, they'll rebalance, or, it's emotional, it's stress, it's all these things. And then send you on your way, kind of like, it will pass. There's nothing I can give you for that. So this dismissiveness becomes silence, and it gets pushed down. And we're also conditioned maybe to behave in a certain way. So it is not ladylike maybe to go into rage and throw things.
And it's like celebrated to be resilient and just suck it up. And that's celebrated when
just get on with it, right? How many people just get on with it. Life isn't going to stop for you. Get on with it. And so what happens is the things that you need to say to process an experience, to be healthy, right? To get through something, gets stuffed down. So let's say it's getting stuffed here. This is your throat chakra, right? So you'll see recurring inflammation in this area. Someone who keeps getting like throat infections, sore throats, laryngitis, they're not even able to speak anymore because of inflammation there. It can go further, right? Where maybe the emotions are pushed all the way down into the abdomen. So I was working with a woman who went to 1 million doctors, was tested for 1 million different things, very invasive tests, some of them colonoscopies or endoscopies, all kinds of things.
And costly.
Yeah. Like 400,000 shillings later, she's like, there's nothing wrong with me. And then someone says, you should go for body talk. Just see. And then she comes to see me. And I look at your whole life. It's holistic energy medicine. So I'm asking about relationships. I'm asking about your upbringing. I'm looking at all these things. And then I'm tuning into the innate intelligence of the body. And the body starts screaming, I need to breathe down here. You know, your diaphragm is here. And there was this contraction of this woman's body where the energy is just stuck right here. And so I ask her, how is your digestive system? Oh, yeah, I'm constipated. For how long? For over a week. Start looking into things. And this woman never grieved a huge loss in her life. She just moved on with life. She was balancing work and her family life. She was actually not talking about what was really happening in her marriage, and the marriage was falling apart. And the silence was all right here, all those emotions, and she couldn't let go. Constipation is a backup. So your body actually is quite literally talking to you. If you can't go to the toilet, something is stuck there and you can't let go. I'm not saying it's the same for everyone. It's not always grief, but it can be. And sometimes it's fear. Although fear sometimes does the other thing, where you're overusing the toilet, right? But your body is constantly trying to tell you something. So we start working with that. The second I put my hand on her abdomen, she cried. And she was like, what are you doing?
What is this?
Yeah. And I said, what is the sadness? You know, and I can ask, but I like talking to the person, you know, but I can just sit there with the muscle test and be like, okay, so I can get very technical and be like, this is oriented to 3 years ago. I can go all the way to the month and the day. I can keep asking, is it July? Is it July 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th? July 7th. Then I'll ask, what happened on July 7th in 2017? Oh, my mother passed. And everything pours out. So it can get that specific, but I'm talking to the person and they already know. And I feel like in my practice, I think the more you talk, the more you release. So I'm trying to get you to talk along with understanding what your body has absorbed and held all this time. And I always say, because then women can be very critical. Like, what's wrong with me? Why did I do this? And
I failed at something.
And I said, let's do the opposite. Let's thank your colon for holding all this while you held your family together, while you held your job together. But you can say, I release it now. And usually they jump off the table and run to you. So at that point, if it's that, the body is like, let go.
Now.
And then in other cases, you know, it's just them finding their voice. I'll have people that come in with a sore throat and laryngitis, and by the end, they can shout.
Do you know what's interesting is like that was a recurring thing for me. And when I came to see you, I think
I earned my degree online at Arizona State University. I chose to get my degree at ASU because I knew that I'd get a quality education, they were recognized for excellence, and that I would be prepared for the workforce upon graduating. To be associated with ASU, both as a student and alum, it makes me extremely proud, and having experienced the program, I know now that I'm set up for success. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.
I had felt a bit of scratchy throat, which was weird because the moment that I had like recurring, my voice would go, and there were points I'd go to the doctor and they would be like, we cannot see any flu, or like I can give you something to soothe your throat, and hopefully like it's mainly like steroids, right, to get your voice back, right?
It's heavy.
Right? And because I was working a daily radio show. And so I'm like, I kind of sort of need my voice like tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right? And at the time I was stressed, and the work that I was doing was draining me. And immediately I left that job, like that stopped. And then I remember, like, when I came to see you, you were like, oh, okay. You didn't ask for that history. You were like, do you have throat issues? And I just come from like 2 weeks where I was enjoying something so wonderful, but I felt like I couldn't speak about it publicly. And so I felt kind of muffled. But I did that thing of like, is that a flu coming? And then it just disappeared, right? So I was like, I guess not. And so we talked about my throat. What are the common blockages you see, especially with women?
A lot of the autoimmune blockages. So
Okay.
I'll see thyroid problems, immune system problems, where they're recurring illnesses, no matter what they are. A lot of issues with the digestive system. So if it isn't constipation, there's just bloat. Imagine bloat is just emotions, bloop, 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 just building up and building up. So I see a lot of that. It's everything you can possibly imagine. Like, I get everything from migraines to periods that won't stop or periods that won't come. And that's a denial of your femininity quite often. Like, if the periods aren't coming, there's this shutting down of your femininity, or a fear of becoming a mother before you're ready. So I see it a lot in young people. And then in older women, when they're approaching menopause, sometimes these periods are coming much more frequently, and it's like a panic that the end is near. And even though they don't want kids, the body itself is processing this as like a loss and a grief. And so you'll see that dysregulation. I feel, with women especially, it is truly fascinating, like what the body is doing hormonally, what is happening in menopause, because some people just get through it, and others are tormented through menopause, and nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about menopause, although now people are
starting
putting it out there, yes, which I think is great. Like, I've been to some talks on it, which I like. Pinky Galani was doing great work around that, and I just appreciate any forum where people are allowed to talk openly. But we also need to do this for men. So we think, because women tend to get the diagnoses, right, of the autoimmune condition, that it's only happening to women, but men die young.
And also the women are not living in a vacuum.
Right. Yeah, but men will just keep it until the heart just stops and they collapse. You hear that a lot, where men just collapse, you know? And so we need men to be able to safely express their emotions and their thoughts and try to come into congruence with those two things, their thoughts and their emotions, because it's usually just one or the other. And it's overthinking or over-expressing the emotion with anger, or it can be.
And it's even frowned upon for a man to feel, right?
That's wrong. We are both divine masculine, divine feminine, which you have to have a balance between masculine and feminine energies. And that is not gender. It is not at all gender related. It's like masculine energy is assertive energy. And we need to be assertive.
And
right?
we have it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the feminine energy is the intuitive, self-nurturing side.
Which men also
need as well, but we don't encourage that. A self-care day for a man?
Frowned upon.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of these things are frowned upon, although at least now we're talking about it.
Yeah.
But yes, I think everyone has to learn to look after themselves and understand how their body works, how it is speaking to them, and what to do when it starts speaking, especially when it's getting louder and louder. Yeah.
So there's people watching this who are hearing body talk therapy for the first time, and coming from the school of thought of we've been told to disconnect our body from our mind, and not looking at ourselves as one cohesive super unit, right?
And I like that.
Right? And they might be skeptical or curious. What happens? Take me through a body talk therapy session as if I've never been for one.
Yeah, so it's usually, the first session is usually about 2 hours, sometimes a little bit longer. And I like to take my time and interview the clients. And I'll take a medical history. It is important to know if you're taking medication and what you have been diagnosed with. But I'm also going to ask what your primary stressors are in your life. Do you have pain in your body anywhere? Do you sleep well at night? These are all indicators that something's out of balance. And so the more we get into the conversation, the more I can start picking up the information before this person is even on the table. It would be weird if you just bring someone in and you're like, lay down, let me touch your wrist. You build the rapport.
Yeah.
But I'm also getting our energies to sync. And when you sync with people, right?
And
You're
it's so
vibing.
magical.
It's the same in body talk. You just get into this sync and this flow and you start to kind of sense what's happening. But I'm not a psychic. So after we talk and I get that history and all that information, then I explain to them what I'm going to do. You're just going to remove your shoes. You lay down on the table. You're comfortable. You're face up. And then I'm using the wrist. I calibrate the wrist. So I tell the wrist, this is a yes, this is a no. It's me, okay? Yeah. And then I just start asking those questions in my head. And I usually have one hand on their abdomen because that's a strong energy center where you connect. And then a lot of times, like with you, the information was just readily there. And the thing is, nobody comes to you that doesn't need you. So you don't just show up at Body Talk, and your friends telling you you have to go, she thought of you.
Yeah.
And it was meant for you. And that's the way it is. So if someone comes to your mind to refer, it's because they need it. That's how this works.
Yeah.
It's the same idea of when you keep thinking of someone, you're like, I have to call them, and they call you. Whoever pops into your mind around this needs it. So I'm explaining all of that to them. My hands on the abdomen, the information starts coming. But in my mind, I'm following a strict protocol and getting this information. And basically, when I'm able to identify all the things that are connected in what we call in Body Talk a formula. So, you can have the throat connected to the kidney, which doesn't seem logical, right? But you might have so much fear of speaking that these two things are now out of alignment and we have to restore the communication because your kidneys tend to hold fear. So I just start to get into the understanding of what is this story? What is this person afraid of? What's really happening? And then I'll ask some questions, kind of get that confirmation. And then we do some tapping and breathing. So we tap on 3 major energy centers in the body. We tap on the head.
Oh, yes, I remember this. Okay.
The heart, and then the navel. And that's because we have a head brain, a heart brain, which is your emotional center. And then you have your gut brain. And if your microbiome in your gut is off, guess where you're also off?
Exactly.
Brain fog, confusion, fatigue of the mind, all those things, they're connected. Everything's connected. Ultimately, everything is connected. Yeah. So when I'm tapping on those 3 energy centers, it is initiating the changes that I am paying attention to, those things that were identified in the body. Sometimes I explain all of that stuff, and then sometimes it's like not important. What's more important is helping them understand the story and letting it go and say, do you want to carry this? No, then let's breathe. Let's breathe through this, and then it goes. And then we repeat the process until the body eventually is like, I'm good, thanks. And then at the end of a session, I asked, does this person need a future session? So you didn't need a follow-up. So if a person doesn't need a specific follow-up to that, and sometimes it will tell me in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it's specific. If you don't, then I always know. You're going to intuitively know when it's time.
Yeah. I think that's what you told me, like, you'll know when to come back. And so I'm like, is it now?
Oh, no, it's not now. You'll just, it's a knowing.
But it's funny when you express it, because it was that I felt a release. Like, and when I walked out, I was like, like everything is like very, almost like you're not even touching the ground. It's airy now.
You feel so light and expanded. You have more room to bring stuff in.
Yeah.
And if you imagine that you're connected to everything, the whole field, right? So in your case, where I'm blocking a few things, the energy now starts to move, right? And energy is moving up and down in the body. It's moving in vortexes, depending on where it is in the body. When all those systems come into balance, all the stuff that's in your field, all your hopes and your dreams and the thoughts that you have, now enter into that field that enters into the mind and the body, and it's no longer just there. All those possibilities exist within you. And because you have clarity of mind, you will intuitively start to say, I'm going to write a book. I'm going to do this.
It's clear, like, I can do this.
Nothing is blocking you if you were blocked at that time. And it just lets you move.
So what is one thing you would want women watching this episode to take away, as far as, I always say, taking control of your health as a woman is rebellion. Because so much keeps us away from it. I'm like, just by that it's an act of rebellion. What is one thing you would want women to unlearn or learn as they watch this episode?
Yeah, that choosing yourself, putting yourself first is not selfish. It is the most important thing you do. Because when you put yourself first and you fill your vessel, then that vessel is full with love and compassion and all the things that we need to exist in the world. And then when you're giving, because all women are giving, when you are giving from your overflow, not from depletion. When you are giving and the well keeps going down and down and down, you're going to end up sick. It's that simple. You won't have the energy to live your life. So it's important to fill your vessel first. It's the oxygen on the airplane theory. Put the mask on yourself, because if you faint, you can't put the mask on the person next to you. So fill your own vessel. It is not selfish. It is the most important thing that you have to do. And I think a lot of women think, I'm being selfish, putting my own needs first.
Because of how we're socialized.
Like, it's selfish not to.
Exactly.
Yeah, because then you don't have the energy that everyone else needs.
And I think it helps you arrive in the spaces or relationships that matter most to you. A healthier version of you, which should matter as well. Janet, thank you so much for coming on the show. First, thank you for my session with you, and then for coming on the show and being so giving, and helping us understand things that we were not socialized to understand our bodies from this perspective. And maybe now we can pay more attention. We can listen more, and we can also understand that the emotions, your body is also feeling them. And if it's not processed, they're there. You know, they're there. And I hope that you enjoyed this episode. I hope you learned something new. In the caption, we have linked contacts to Janet in case you want to go for a session or learn more. And if there's something you connected with in this episode, drop it in the comments as well. Make sure you subscribe so you do not miss the next episode.